Raturostohom aniakiana. Raturostohom anekatira an ianatam an arayani. Uromahat an Kirania turustohom aniaki tetrania turustohom manakia tara ania kriana turustohom aniaki an or om. Nice deep breath. Exhale with a sigh. Homarena hat ar I ek anorohom an I en an ar nuye katirania turustuhom ar aniekat arastianam Deep briefly. Blessings to you all. It is our pleasure, as always, to be in your presence. As you mentioned in your discussions, indeed, the frequencies, the energies that you are holding in your body, in your mind, and all the other layers of the self are quickening and intensifying. These are energies that are awakening within your own beingness. These are not foreign energies being bombarding you from the outside as often seen by people, but an activation of an already existing frequency within yourself. Then you may ask, why is my body having such a difficult time assimilating all these energies if they are coming from within? And the answer is that the basis of those frequency is in consciousness, is from the field of oneness, many layers removed from the physical. So then the physical is just one layer that has to assimilate to those energies. The three first layers are or last layers, depending on how you look at it, are the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body. So not only your physiological system is having a hard time assimilating, and a hard time is really your perception, including Yafi here. In our perception, it's not that they're having a hard time. They're slower to react, slower to assimilate, because they are the most physiologically dense, vibrating in the most dense, slow vibration. The next level, as we mentioned, is the emotional, and after that is the mental. And just as many of you are noticing the body, physical body, having a harder time to assimilate, you may also notice that emotionally you may have difficulties integrating, assimilating all the emotions that come up. And the third layer is mental energy. And indeed, many of you are experiencing the mind being overactive, the mind going to stories and that are mostly anxiety based, fear based, or are limiting stories that you are used to telling yourself and believing rather than questioning, accepting as a reality rather than seeing them as one layer of the self. We will pause here and allow you, as always, to lead the conversation.
Thank you and greetings.
Greetings to you.
So excited, and thank you for the dove.
It is our pleasure.
Greatly appreciated. So with, excuse me, with your information, it expanded my question. So the physical, emotional, and mental layers of ourselves, there seems to be a theme of nervous system regulation that is coming up for nearly all humans, awake or aware or not. People seem to be challenged with this at this time. And so with supporting our individual bodies on those levels of emotional, physical, and mental, if it's perspective shifts, beliefs, releasing, like how can we support our bodies on those levels, physical, emotional, and mental?
Yes.
And is there anything we can do to support others and share some information with them that might support our communities of people that, like I said, are not as aware or awake? Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your wonderful and important questions at this time. So yes, when you're talking about your nervous system, you usually refer to as you, as a plural you, usually ask about the electricity running through your bodies, which indeed is the higher frequencies coming into the physical, densifying into the physical. And indeed, to support your nervous system, there is the physical part. A part of it is something that you touched on in your conversation prior to this channeling, in terms of being outside for grounding. And yes, we're not talking about earthing. You do not have to go barefoot in the snow, although some of you actually enjoy it. The rest of you who do not are not asked to do so. You do not have to go barefoot in the snow or even on the cold ground, sand, grass, or otherwise, but just being surrounded by the elements. And that is what's important here. You are helping the body assimilate. So being outside, what you're doing is allowing the different elements to work together. And here we're talking about earth, water, fire, and air. When you step outside, you activate the participation of all four elements. That gives your physical body something that connecting to nature otherwise cannot. And not only your physical body, this is interacting with your etheric body, meaning that it includes the mental, emotional, and physiological body within it. So by spending some time outside, as much as you can, allowing yourself to incorporate all four elements in your interaction with your environment, you are helping the body integrate the different frequencies. Now, it is up to you to incorporate the mental and emotional components that come up to the surface. And here we invite you all to be more accepting, patient, and tolerant than usual, because you're going to notice a lot of patterns coming up to the surface, both within yourself and on others. Because things are coming up to the surface in such a forceful way, it is very easy to see other people's patterns. And it becomes very important to go to allowance and acceptance rather than either anger, frustration, or righteousness, correction. Even when you see other people struggling, it is not for you to offer the higher perspective. And this is for everyone, including, again, this vehicle here. She has encountered it in her personal life as well. You may want to help and point out certain patterns or certain perceptions or certain realities. However, even if you feel you are coming from a place of love, the energy is so sensitive and raw that your comments are more likely to be perceived as such as some judgment or criticism. Therefore, eliciting a defensive response rather than allowance and growth. So the suggestion here is to allow others to be exposed to new idea by osmosis. So don't stop yourself from having a conversation with a friend, even if a third party listening is rolling their eyes. But don't feel compelled to go to that person and give them a piece of your mind, loving or not. So honoring where people are on their journey, and at the same time honoring where you are on your journey, both physiologically, emotionally, and mentally, is very significant. Many of you want to be at the top of the food chain, not in a survivalist way, but as spiritual leaders. But that desire can prevent you from accepting your journey as it is right now. You are being reminded that your life is a journey, is a path, is a way, not to a destination, but the actual journey and the way. This is the life.
Yes, thank you. I think originally my question was with helping others like physically, but as you were speaking of all of that, I'm like, yes, that's very relevant. And thank you for sharing that. And the knowing came up of like, oh, I have plenty of methods to share with them with grounding and earthing
and eating
nature.
right and making sure you calm. Sleep hygiene is becoming very important so people can get the proper rest. Yes, you all know the basic physiological ways to keep your body well. Now it is time to integrate the emotional, mental, etheric, the system as a whole as it goes down all the way to the physical for a more whole integration.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. And we share this with you with the knowing that 99%, maybe 95, depending on the person, percent of what we say is familiar to you. However, it is hearing it the right way at the right time to trigger exactly what you need to trigger within yourself for further acceptance, further awakening, and further embodiment. So we appreciate you being such a receptive vessel and such a loving vessel who wants to share her wisdom with others for the purpose of helping.
It's definitely my honor. Thank you.
We are ready for the next question.
Susan, are you ready?
I was number 3.
I think Stephanie has left, so you got bumped up to number 2.
Okay, I'll go. So, greetings. Thank you for being with us.
Greetings and blessings to you.
Thank you. During our last meeting, you said in the introduction that more of you are present now. Did you mean present at the meeting or present here on the planet? And if it's on the latter, I mean, what places on the planet are you? How many of you are here? What are you doing? How long are you going to stay? Has anybody been in contact with you? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. So when we started by introducing the concept that more are here, we started by meaning for the session and energetically. However, as an extension of it, or this is an extension of greater numbers of us in the physical on your planet. So, more counterparts of us, you may say more of our friends, have joined us in the physical on your planet. Now, we are saying on the physical with the awareness that in our natural state, although we perceive each other as beings with, you may call some form and way to interact in that way, to your eyes, we would be light at best. However, it is close enough in vibration that we can densify to become plasma in your density and even more physiologically dense than that. Some are names that you are familiar with, such as Anubis and such as Jehuti, aka Thoth, and others you may have other names for or no names at all. However, they are connected to groups that you have some awareness of, groups and collective, including and mainly our group as Hathor. As you know, we are a collective, not just one individual, and our collective includes many. Some of those are beings that thought to be different, such as Anubis, who is actually one of us. Now, you asked where we are, and we have given the information that our presence is connected, not only our presence. Most groups that are on your planet are underground in some way, the ones that are on the actual planet, either deep within mountains. We're hearing noise, so please mute yourself if you're not muted. Both undergrounds in terms of deep within mountains, but also underground under your oceans. And with major contact coming up, and we can talk about that if you'd like, more and more of that will be available, meaning beings, crafts, sometimes whole collectives coming out of certain mountains and certain oceans. We cannot disclose the exact location until it is safe to do so. There is a lot happening behind the curtain, the public curtain, that is in preparation for what we call open contact. Some of these stories are ones that you heard of in terms of restriction and control. However, those are a part of the bigger picture of elevating together as a planet. The control mechanisms that have been put in place on your planet can no longer hold the control that they once did. As awareness is growing, so we're taking it back to consciousness rather than physical implementations. As awareness is growing, those physical systems are losing their capabilities. So notice there is a direct connection between your awareness and your consciousness and the physical control mechanisms that are in place. In that way, you can justify focusing on staying internally balanced and in coherence of all the different parts of yourself, as assisting in breaking down those control mechanisms. You are in reality outgrowing their ability to hold the system. You can see it as cords that are supposed to restrict growth. However, at some point when growth is happening, those cords simply snap as they are not strong enough to hold the system, to hold the field, both physiologically and an extension of that. Are there any follow-ups, questions that you would like to ask?
Yes, if I may. Oh, now it's slipping. Help me. with regards, dear, what was Stephanie? Somebody help me.
Take your time.
I know, I'm trying to, it's a thin thread that keeps jumping away. I guess with regards to our focus and attention
As
on
a
these
lot of
outer,
energy are running through you, your mind is going to experience changes as well. At times, your mind is going to experience what you're experiencing right now, the slipperiness of cognitive thinking when you are in a higher vibration. So, right now, what you're experiencing, let us describe it. You are not in another dimension, but just enough to be slightly out of phase with the physiological frequency or the mental frequency of the physical brain. As a result, the slipperiness comes in, and that is something many of you are going to experience. However, let us assure you, it is not that you're declining cognitively. It is just that some of those older systems, older ways of thinking, cannot have as solid of a grasp as they could in the past. That is a part of learning to operate at a higher frequency with learning to hold parts of yourself that may resonate in a denser way. And this is a part of the process that you are all experiencing right now. Again, whether those are emotions, thoughts, or physiological symptoms. You're just beginning to, as you stretch your vibration higher, there are momentary, and these are all temporary, that is why it's not a reason for concern, gaps of coherence between the different parts.
beautiful. Are there any tips or cliff notes on integrating
Yes.
to balance into the
Patience is a big one.
That's tough for humans.
Oh, yes, it is one of the bigger lessons for all of you spiritual leaders. So, when you came in, you said, I want to know more. I want to remember. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. What you forgot along the way, that if this is the general population and you want to be a leader, and you all do, and you raise your frequency, that means that now most of the people around you are vibrating at a lower frequency. Well, you asked for it. You wanted more wisdom. You wanted more awareness. You wanted to help others. You must remember that so you are able to hold the patience that is acceptance and allowance. Just as the different parts of yourself need to come into coherence, and you must allow that to happen, and you must hold a space of allowance so things can shake as needed and reorganize as needed for yourself. So you must hold the same space for others, which requires patience, patience, patience. And we remind you, you asked for it.
Indeed, we did. Thank you so much. I think we're out of time. This has been absolutely wonderful today. Thank you.
As always, it is our pleasure. We thank you for the co-creation. And we will say this is just the beginning. More and more of us are here. We are not the only group interacting with humanity at this time. There are many, and exciting times are coming. The more you're able to focus on the now and what's coming rather than what was until now and is happening now. So there's the past leading to now, and there's the now leading to the new. You must choose which now you focus on. And with this, we send you our love and bid you farewell.
Thank you.